call Bhomik. Bhomik, are you there? Yes, good, Shivam. Bhomik, are you there? No, Bhomik is not there, Khushi. Tell next name.
Swastika.
Swastika. Are you there, beta?
Yes, sir. Sir, am I visible or?
Yes, you are visible as well as audible.
Uh, okay, sir. So today I will be explaining the chapter "The Summer of the Beautiful White Horse." The summer
Okay,
of the
go ahead. All the best.
Thank you, sir. The Summer of the Beautiful White Horse, the story by William Sullivan. In this story, there are two main characters, 9-year-old Aram and his 13-year-old cousin Murad, who came from an Armenian family and whose hallmarks are trust and honesty. Let us start the story. One day at 4 in the morning, Murad came to Aram's house and wakes him up by tapping on his window. Aram looks out and sees that Murad was sitting on a very beautiful white horse. Murad asked for a ride, but Aram wasn't out. As they belonged to a very poor family, they couldn't afford such a beautiful horse. Aram soon realizes that Murad must have stolen the horse, but couldn't believe it. Murad pretended to be innocent, and somehow Aram justifies himself that it's not stealing until they try to sell the horse. They both began their ride. As they reached Olive Avenue, Murad started singing. It means he started roaring. In the story, Aram tells that Murad inherited the crazy streak from their uncle Khusro. Uncle Khusro was a furious man, so irritable, so impatient that he could stop anyone while talking and always said pay no attention to it's no harm. But Murad's father was Uncle Zorab, who was a very practical man. They both enjoyed a long and satisfying ride until Murad asked Aram to get down, as he wants a solo ride on the horse. Aram demanded the same. As Murad finished his ride, Aram gets back on. Unfortunately for Aram, the horse ran into neighbor's vineyard and leaped over 7 vines. Before that, Aram fell down. Murad came running and they both took half an hour to find the horse and eventually hide it at an vineyard. Aram realizes that Murad is riding the horse for some time and told him about this morning. When he asked, he said that he doesn't want Aram to have to lie if they caught. Then they both returned home. That day at afternoon, a farmer named John Barrow came to Aram's house and mentions that his horse is stolen a month ago and still missing. Of the nature of the habit, Uncle Khusro started shouting at John Barrow and they both had a long argument. Aram went to Murad's house and confronts him and said that he will not return the horse until he learns how to ride. Murad said it would take a year to you how to ride. Then they both agreed that they would return the horse in 6 months. One day, 2 weeks later, they both were their way to abandoned vineyard where they moved to John Barrow, who was on his way to town. John Barrow recognized the horse and resembles the one he lost. He said he would believe that boys have stolen the horse, but he mentions a suspicious man would believe his eyes instead of his heart and moves on. Next day, early in the morning, both the boys returned the horse at Barrow's barn. At afternoon, Barrow came with his horse on his shuri and mentions his horse is more stronger and better tempered. At last, Uncle Khusro started shouting at John Barrow and said, pay no attention to it. Thank you.
Is that all?
Yes, sir.
Okay. At the same time, I wanted you to tell few more things. One thing is, what central idea did you pick up from the story, or what was the theme as you picked? And
Yes.
second thing is, which part of the story was most interesting according to you, or you liked that part very much? Why? And then there were few characters. So out of all those characters, which character has impressed you most? These are few more things that I was expecting from you. But fine, your preparation of the story was good. So this much is enough. Now,
Yeah.
if the class wants to ask a question to Swastika, you can ask. Anyone? No questions? Are you all there? No responses, no visibility, no nods. Chalo. Swastika, if you have any question to ask to the class, you can ask.
They can tell about what was the nature of Uncle Khushro and and the difference between Uncle Khushro and Zorab, the Murad's father.
Hmm.
Because I
The
didn't.
characteristic difference between Uncle Khusro and Zorab. Hmm. The
Yes,
characteristic
sir.
difference.
Yes, sir.
Hmm. Can anyone tell? See, there was a difference of gravity, seriousness, है ना? Maturity. Uh, uh, Murad's father, he was quite a very honest and a hardworking kind of person. Whereas this man, Khusro, he was a very carefree sort of person. He did not pay attention to anything too much, and he was not worried by anything, or he was not concerned for anything. He took everything so very lightly. So his attitude towards his life was just take everything lightly, take it easy. Okay, he never took any kind of burden. Whereas the other person, he was quite very sincere about everything that he did, and at the same time, he was responsible, and he was ready to do everything to save the reputation of their family. What was the reputation of their family? That they were all very honest, though they were poor, but the honesty was their identity. So he was an epitome of the identity of their family. Okay, chalo beta. Khushi,
Thank you, sir.
who is next for presentation?
Aditi Soni and Aditi Samadhia.
Okay, out of these two Aditis, who is there?
Sir, Aditi Samadhya is present.
Aditi Samadhya is present,
Aditi Samadhya is
but Aditi
absent.
Soni,
Aditi Samadhya is absent.
Aditi Soni is telling that Aditi Samadhya is present. Good. Chalo Aditi, you are there. So go ahead. All the best.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Om Shri Sai Ram. The story which I am going to narrate today is entitled Albert Einstein at School. No genius is a born genius. Even Albert Einstein did not excel in school. In fact, he was the dumbest student in the entire campus. Once, his history teacher asked, when did the Prussians defeat the French in the Battle of Waterloo? Einstein argued that it is pointless to memorize dates and mug up the facts when one can simply flip through the pages and answer. His teacher obviously turned red. Einstein believed that one should always study the subject of his choice, and not all the subjects with the absence of interest, as he himself had his mind in science and maths. Later, he moved to Munich, but the same story repeated. This time, he asked his friend Yuri to appoint a doctor who can claim that he has a severe nervous breakdown and write him as a lunatic. As a result of which, he cannot attend the school for 6 months, and by that time, he gets into some Italian college or institute. Yuri does so and appoints a doctor named Ernest Whale. The following day, Einstein visits him and confesses his love for maths. The doctor too agrees to help him out. Next, Einstein goes to school to get a reference from his maths teacher. But his headmaster calls him and rusticates him from the school in order to disturb the environment of the whole campus and including his own class. After listening to the headmaster, Einstein turns astonishingly and begins to move. Now, little Albert was expelled out of the school even before bringing the medical in anybody's notice. Further, Yuri wishes him luck and bids him a farewell, whereas Albert Einstein leaves for Milan in order to transform himself from Albert to the father of modern physics, who once said, "The only thing that interferes my learning is my education." Anyways, this brings us to the end of the story written by Patrick Pringle and presently narrated by Aditi Soni. The thing that impressed me the most in this story is the nature of Albert Einstein, who thought that the education limits the thinking of a person, whereas learning practically helps a person to think out of the box. Thank you.
Is that all?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Now, class, do you want to ask anything to her?
Sir,
Hmm.
sir, why couldn't society adopt Albert Einstein as who he was?
Aditi?
Firstly, Albert Einstein was a little child, and considering him a little kid, society did not want to change their perception to the education, and even the educational institutes believed that learning everything by heart is the most important thing and not learning things practically.
Okay, so his ideas were not accepted, his ideas were not appreciated by the educational society, by the schools or the institutions, because their ideology about teaching and learning was little different. They believed that things should be learnt and remembered, whereas Einstein felt that things should be done and understood. That was the difference. Okay, so his point of view was his own, but if somebody comes and starts telling like this, probably schools have their own curriculum, teachers have their own curriculum, everybody, everywhere, every institution has few things that are to be covered and that are to be taught up to certain age to all the students. And if one student comes up saying that I have no interest in all this, then it is probably, rather definitely, not possible for any institution to accept such an idea. Idea is practically very good, that whatever things are there available in the books, whatever dates are there available in the books, you can directly refer to them from there. But what do you need to learn and understand is just do it practically, experiment on it, and learn the practical implications, how you can apply those things, how you can apply your knowledge and all this. So his idea was perfectly fine. But yes, if you think about a school can also not accept everything that he suggested or he was thinking in any way. Okay, so that was the reason why he was not adopted by the school societies. I hope the point is clear. Now, Aditi, do you have any question for the class? Aditi, am I not audible? Swastika?
Yeah, you are
Yes,
audible.
sir, you are audible.
But Aditi is not responding to my question or my statement.
वो left हो गई.
Because her face, when it was visible on my screen, it seems that whatever I was speaking or trying to explain, she couldn't hear anything. But what I said, you all heard it, na?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine, no problem.
Sir,
No
sir,
problem.
sir,
Now,
am I there in the meeting
yes,
now?
no, you were always there, but probably my voice was not reaching there. So whatever I spoke in past
Sir,
5 minutes, perhaps
sir, I just,
you were there.
no, sir, I heard that, but I think I, Sir,
No,
I was
no.
just expelled out of the meeting.
Expelled out of the meeting means you got out
Sir,
of the
I
meeting
was
due to some
thrown out
connectivity.
of the meeting. Yes, sir.
Nobody throws anybody out of the meeting. This is only a problem of connectivity. Nobody throws anyone from the meeting. Okay. Okay, fine. Now, if you have any question to ask to the class, you can go ahead. Otherwise, I'll go to the next student.
Uh, Sir, why? I have a question that why did the doctor agree to make a false medical uh, document for
Okay.
Einstein?
Yes. Fake document for Einstein. Yes. Can anyone answer? Would somebody like to try? See, this doctor was an apprentice. He has just completed his degree and he has just started a practice. Do you know this? It was there in the story. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, because he was just a uh, what you can say, he has just received his degree as a doctor and he has come out in the practical world. At that age, probably he was not mature enough for him importance of friendship or for him importance of little money that he was offered was more than the ethics of his profession. Actually, doctors have their own ethics. Every profession has its own ethics. But in the case of this doctor who was quite very young, not mature, did not see the world, had no experience at all, and the person who took Einstein to him was his friend. So, just in the influence of friendship, or maybe in the greed of getting some money, he has compromised with his ethics, which was unfair on his part. But the question is, why did he agree to do that unfair thing? So, this could be the reason. Or at the same time, there is one more reason, which you all will agree with. Now he is a doctor, but once he was also a student. So only an ex-student can understand the feelings and the difficulties of a present student. Agreed? Do you agree, Aditi?
Yes, yes, sir.
है ना? So in that case, he might have understood the mental state of Albert Einstein and he agreed to help him. He agreed to take him out of all that terrible situation that he was in. This could be another reason. Got it? Now, do we have time
Yes, sir.
left? No, we hardly have any time left. Who is the next presenter, Khushi?
Mohit and Manav.
Mohit and?
Manav.
Okay, Mohit, how long is your presentation? Mohit is not there perhaps. He is not in the class.
Yes, sir.
And Manav?
Sir, both of them are not there.
Have they left right now or they were not there already?
Sir, they left at the right now.
Okay, no problem. We are already up. It is 3:44. So fine, Khushi, take names for the next class and we'll have all 5 presentations. What I want in the next class is that Shivam will record and Khushi will take the attendance. Khushi, you can do one more thing just now.
Yes.
Click on that attendance, save it once again and send it once again. I would like to see what
Yes,
is the
sir.
difference in the number when you took the attendance first and now when you take. So in whichever list we'll have the
Sir,
bigger number of.
28.
है बेटा?
Sir, 28.
हाँ, earlier it was less perhaps.
Yes, sir.
So now take this and send it to me on WhatsApp. Okay? Take this attendance and then send. Shivam, you can stop
Yes.
recording. Shivam,